Let's get right to it because Karin Housley, candidate for the U.S. Senate, Senator Housley, has got to do an interview on Fox News not far from now, and so she's nice enough to spare us some time here early in the 7 o'clock hour. Senator Housley, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Mike.
Ron Schara standing by with me. He's got the outdoor questions.
Hi, Karin.
Hey, how are you too? Good to hear from you, Ron.
Saw you at Game Fair. Appreciated you being there, rubbing shoulders with outdoor folks.
It's like one of the highlights of the whole year for me is going to Game Fair. How many people come out there and everything I learn and all the fun things I get to see, and it's a mecca for hunting and fishing out there.
Well, listen, you're running for Senate office. There aren't a lot of local issues that you might get into, but one of them is a dispute between Minnesota and the courts whether Minnesota should be allowed to manage its timber wolves. And I do think I read you support Minnesota having management of its wolves.
Absolutely. I think anytime you can take government out of Washington, D.C. and give more local control to states, and the states even given control to cities and counties and school boards, the more local you can get, the better it is. So when it comes to the wolves, I mean, they have already surpassed the number of wolves to be on the endangered species list. They should be coming off of it, and then leave it to the state of Minnesota what they want to do. Don't let the federal government tell us that they need to be on the endangered species list.
You know, interestingly, that might be something, if you become elected, you and Amy Klobuchar could agree on, because she has sided with Minnesota and wolf management for quite a few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of things, and I have a history of agreeing with Democrats on many, many things, but you just don't always hear about those in the news. The headliners are always the extremists on the far left and the far right, and I just happen to be running against someone who's on the far left, Tina Smith, and she has not come out to take the wolves off the endangered species list, and I know it had a lot of people out at Game Fair pretty upset about it.
Another issue, of course, that you would deal with is the federal farm bill and conservation programs. Any thoughts there?
The farm bill is extremely important to Minnesota because we're top 5 in the country for our agriculture production. I just got endorsed by the cattlemen, but the farm bill is extremely important. And again, Tina Smith failed Minnesotans because she claims to have been working on the farm bill, but it didn't get done. It expired yesterday, so it's pretty disappointing there. But making sure that the programs are in there to protect our farmers from, for instance, crop insurance, it's really important because they have a tough enough job already with the uncertainty, whether it's weather or commodities prices or government getting in the way. So making sure we get a farm bill done for these farmers so they have some sort of security. They're not planning for their crops tomorrow. They're planning, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years out. So they really need that farm bill to get done.
Well, those of us who hunt and fish, of course, we are looking at the farm bill for different things like CRP, et cetera, clean water acts in there, and grasslands, et cetera. Have you had some thoughts about the conservation parts of the federal farm bill?
I think it is very important, the conservation part, but again, leave it to the local people. Nobody knows what's better for their land than the people who own it. But we do have to keep some conservation land out there for the hunting and fishing because it is important that we have land for them to hunt on, for the hunters to hunt on. So it's important that that's kept in there.
Well, and today, I mean, the tariffs and the deal that they got with Canada and Mexico does help the farmers some, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And the president is coming to Minnesota on Thursday. He's coming down to Rochester, and it's his promises made, promises kept tour. And he is getting the things done that he said he was going to do. And he said he was going to renegotiate NAFTA, and he did, and he got it done. He got the deal done with Mexico and with Canada. I think they're calling it the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement now instead of NAFTA. But it is. There's a lot of good things in there, and he's getting done what he said he was going to do, and that's important to those that are involved.
Well, just stepping back to the wolf question again, it's always been a curiosity for me that Minnesota can manage its deer, its pheasants, and all kinds of wildlife, but when it comes to wolves,
we don't know how to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people in Washington don't seem to think we can do that, especially federal judges. It's sort of perplexing.
It's funny because I talked to Bob Lassard a lot about it too, and it's like once a week he'll call me and he'll say,
I bet he will.
Oh yes, he will. I wish Bob Lassard could text. But it is, and Washington, that's just how they get it. When government gets bigger and bigger and they think they know what's best, but you're right, we can manage all of our other animal populations, but when it comes to the wolf, it's the last one that we have to tell Washington, we know better what's best for Minnesota than Washington. But Tina Smith thinks she knows what's better, and she would like Washington to run everything, including our wolf population.
Well, Karin, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we know you got a busy schedule here.
I would just suggest check some of those conservation measures in the federal farm bill, because the CRP is one that very important to outdoor folks for clean water, pheasants, etc. And you should get yourself familiar with that part of the federal farm bill.
Absolutely, Ron. Thank you so much, and I will. I'm going to be on Tucker Carlson tonight.
Yeah, we got to get you over there. Tell him hi for us.
I certainly
I think
will.
he's got a hairpiece. We want to know that. Will you ask him on the air? Thanks, Karin.
Okay, see you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, Karin.